Good morning, my name is Janice Lane. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, and I'm happy to. So one of the most exciting things about the work with the cycles is it actually brings together both content knowledge as well as leadership actions. And so today we're super fortunate to be able to visit schools and classrooms where we know the action really happens for teachers, for principals and ILTs to really think about what are they learning in the cycles of professional learning, but more importantly, how is it getting to teachers and to students? We don't want to eliminate general understanding questions, right? We know we need those, but what we have to think about is what's the balance of what's happening in classrooms and across grade levels, because we also know if we never get to opinions and arguments and looking across multiple texts, we're never going to meet what the standards are asking of us and of our students. So this idea around balance is really important.
Singing. What did you hear, Mackenzie? Ring. It's about the word insects. My first row, look right here.
Dinner packet that looks just like my page on the board. I love how Ashton has already done this. And you're adding our second word under where it says word.
Close reading help you as a reader. You read and reread simple vocabulary words.
Thank you to all of my friends that are
For
proud
you
to have their
can
eyes
solve
back on
the
me.
answers.
So the definition for this word is right in our text. So in my text, I'm going to pick up my pencil and I'm going to underline. Well, I forgot to circle warm-blooded on my board. I'm going to underline the definition. This means that their blood stays. They're really starting to realize why rereading is important, because sometimes when you tell the class we're going to read the text again and they're like, well, we already read it. So there's not as much pushback from the student when I ask them to reread, because they really are getting into the process, and I think they're realizing through having the annotations, oh, today we read and we looked for this, and then they can see in their text what they looked at the previous day and then also add what they're looking at next time. So it really is a visual for them also to see the different ways that they can look at one text.
So as soon as the plant grows, it breaks out the seed and the plant grows. So it's kind of like human nature, but just different. Because it first starts out as a seed, which is a baby, and then it goes up to be a plant, and it's kind of like, human nature.
But she did have them talk with partners before writing their answers, which I thought was a good strategy. She went around and started interacting with the pairs of students, asking them clarifying questions as they discussed their answers.
I saw evidence of the phases of close reading because she said, based on previous readings, her initial question as we walked in referenced that the students had already read the selections.
As I was sitting with my little group over here, they knew what the purpose was behind what they were doing. I asked them how many times they had read it, and they said, this is our third time reading. I asked them on the first read, did you understand what you were reading? And the little girl said, yes, I knew it all. But the little boy's like, no, I didn't know it, but I knew it now. And they were able to tell me words that they did not know the first time.
I don't.
We're the student actions, and students are what, guys? Number 1. There we go. So students engage in collaborative conversations about complex text. We had an 8 out of 16.
What I heard from you is that you saw authenticity, so thank you for that. And I want to say that the biggest thing that has moved our work, it ain't me. It's about those collaborative planning meetings with our instructional coach, with explicit planning around how do we put close reading into the teaching and learning of literacy and mathematics in the already designed curriculum that both of schools have.
So the 6th graders in our curriculum are learning about solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, especially because it's very timely, because this is going to happen this summer. So your work today, what we want to do is the task is up there for you one more time. I'll read it to you one more time so you're familiar with it. Your first step is to read the task, which we've done. And then what you're going to do, we're going to give you some time to explore and annotate both sources. You have the article in your packet today, so you're going to read the article, but we're also going to, Janice is going to pull it up in a moment, there's going to be a simulation on the board. So you as a 6th grader would both be able to read the article and gain information there and see the model up on the board. Then what you're gonna do is we want you to come up with 3 text-dependent questions that you might ask students in order to move them to be able to be successful with this test.
I should be lesson planning around like standard 4 and 1. So being like, I'm working on unknown vocabulary and then I'm going to quote accurately from the text to show my.
I think close reading, or I know that close reading has had a major impact in terms of focusing our school. It's given us universal look-forwards at our school, as well as allow the students to take a deeper dive into the text.
As a leadership team, we've done a few learning walks, analyzed that data. We've also had our teachers do peer observations, and we bring that data to our ILT teams, analyze the trends, and then Mr. Murphy and I bring that back to our teams during collaborative planning. Another way we've been evaluating how it's working is through the student work protocol. We've definitely seen that it's helped us yield high quality writing products. So the phase 4 products have been super high quality because students are able to pick the correct evidence from the text, having read it multiple times for different purposes. So we're definitely enjoying the process and seeing the gains in our students.
What close reading has done this year is allowed, as Principal Jan had just mentioned, allowed for us to create a universal strategy, which allows students to access that highly rigorous math work and really pushes toward that explanation component, which has been very helpful.
We're able to go into classrooms from kindergarten, pre-kindergarten through 5th grade and see the normed procedures that teachers are using to make sure that your district's goal of close reading, text-dependent questions, and annotations that have been stressed at these school leader meetings are really being implemented in the classroom. We've seen classrooms and evidence that students are engaged in reading complex texts. We see evidence that teachers are guiding students through the close reading process where they're really digging deep to make meaning of text. And what we've really seen is a consistency of practice, that the instructional leadership teams that are here today will be able to look at the evidence that they've seen today and go back to their schools and share what they've seen with their teachers and begin to develop a plan that they could use in their own schools to make sure that this consistent practice goes on in all the city schools.